What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quick. What's up, guys? Welcome to another quickie. It's a weekend quickie, and there were a lot of games today. I am your host JJT with Komish Eric. Lots of games, but nothing too surprising or nothing eventful, I guess, when it comes to the fantasy world.
Well, like with what we were talking about off the air, everybody who the stars came out to play today.
Yep.
Basically, I mean, everybody performed. If whoever your first round pick, unless they didn't play today, did well, unless they're injured, right?
Yeah.
Everyone did well.
Luka played well. Had his triple-double, a big triple-double.
Big triple-double, yeah.
Porzingis played well, one of our usual worry players here. Hopefully he can keep it up. I mean, the concern for Porzingis is really not much of the performance, but more of can he stay on the floor.
Actually, with Porzingis, yes, that is one of the worries. But before that, he was also not playing well. Like last year, even when he was not injured, he wasn't playing well. To start the season, he wasn't playing well. So at least now he's playing well. So now we just have to worry about just one thing, the injury.
Just the injury, and just keep himself on the floor. And that, I'm sure he is talented enough to, get his game up as long as he's on the floor. The challenge with him is that if he can't get himself healthy, the performance would always be up and down. There's no consistency there. So yeah, Porzingis
I don't buy that this will last. So
it's probably going to be up and down.
Not only that, I don't buy him being a consistent player and also a healthy player. His injuries will not be the ACLs. I don't think, but I think it's probably gonna be the
small ones,
hamstrings, those things. So those are irritating injuries to have. So if you're asking like how to sell him, who to sell him for, just try a third rounder, maybe try a third or fourth rounder. Maybe a Tobias, someone like a Tobias. It's safer, less lower upside, but safer. I was lucky that one of our co-managers, Grant, did not accept the Kristaps for MPJ offer that I did. Just when Kristaps was injured, I was trying to sell him low, and luckily he didn't accept.
Yeah.
So I dodged the bullet
that
there.
Would have been really low.
The end of me. Yes.
Really low return for your Porzingis. Darius Garland played well. He's been solid this year. I like the assist, consistent assist. I don't expect much on the scoring, but he's been playing really well so far.
Yes. Although we wanted, he's not yet top 70. He's still around 78, 79. So that is still not what you can say, the maximum.
The ceiling.
Maximum ceiling that Garland can reach. But Sexton has just been out for, I think, 2 games, right? So maybe more games without Sexton, he'll be more used to being the lone point guard, I mean, of course, Rubio is there, but I mean the lone guy, the starting 5. So his usage rate did not increase that high. We talked about this, that it's Mobley who got more usage, but it increased to around 24, 25. Let's see if it goes higher. But I'm high on Garland. I'm also high on Garland.
The one I like about Garland is because I've been watching some Cleveland games, and he's quite aggressive. I mean, he penetrates. He's trying to create, and then he can kick out or pass, and
he can shoot.
He can shoot. He has a lot of big guys around him, so when he penetrates there, he can drop off some of those passes to those big guys, and that's what's really happening with the Cavs. So I think the outlook is quite good with Garland. I expect him to have up and down season, but again, the assist is what I value most about Garland. When I picked him, I have only one Garland share. So
I wanted to swap my Conley for Garland, but the back to back news came out, so I wasn't able to execute the trade.
Yeah.
So that's too bad. But Garland is on a different level now than Conley, I think.
Yeah. James Harden, played well. Triple double. Did he have a triple double? No, he had 39.
Yes. I think at 39, close to a triple double, if not a triple double. I think it was a triple double.
I think more than the other stats, it's more of the scoring. He finally gets a good scoring game and a good shooting game because he hasn't had that type of game in quite a while, especially this season. So I think that's the one that's really encouraging.
He's
for
top 10
Harden fan.
I mean, he's top 10 already, averaging 19 points a game. So no worries for me. I mean, a lot of people were worried with a slow start and everything, but we said it here. He said he was not in basketball shape yet. Didn't have, lots of reps in because of the hamstring injury. And then he had to rehab that. So we were not worried, and we told you to buy low. We hope you did.
Yeah. And we're not worried. I'm not worried as well because Harden is not just a one-trick pony. Yes, he can rebound, he can pass the ball, so he has a lot of tools that you can use. Even for a first rounder, if he isn't shooting the ball well, at least he can get some rebounds and get some assists there, and that would help his fantasy value. So it's not like other players who can just score or has elite stat set that you have to rely on them on those categories.
Yes, that's true.
So Harden is solid, and Harden owners should feel good. I feel good because a lot of my Harden teams are struggling a bit, but yeah, hopefully this week would be better. Let's talk about some worry players. Lonzo Ball started really well. I think he's still within that top 50, top 60, but he hasn't been shooting the ball well. I watched the game a bit. He's not as aggressive.
38%, I think, for the season.
Yeah.
And today, 2 out of 11 from the field.
Yeah.
So
not good
there.
And some of the shots were not really well contested. I mean, there were open shots. There were space. It's not like the defense were contesting his shots. Not that level. So he's probably just missing shots. Hopefully.
I was talking to someone about Lonzo, and he said he was looking for a point guard, and he said that it's because Lonzo has become a spot up shooter in Chicago. But I told him, I mean, Lonzo was like that in New Orleans last year also with Zion and Ingram. He was also a spot up 3-pointer. That's why he averaged 3-point-something threes last year. So it's just when he transferred to Chicago, we thought that he's gonna
have more assists
because he's gonna probably be the guy to be the point guard, the creator, everything. But Derozan was there. We had to take that into consideration. He's been playing very well. Zach Lavine also. So I don't know where he would fit in the creating part of the game. So his assist is just 4-point-something, which is disappointing. But he's 40-something, ranked 40-something, still ranked 40-something.
Because of the defense.
But early in the season, he was being overrated. People were thinking top 20, top 25 is doable for Lonzo and everything. But I think you should expect around this value, around late third round value, maybe early fourth round.
But personally, I have some Lonzo stocks there. More.
Aren't you frustrated?
A bit because of I'm just looking. I'm not looking into the rankings as much, right? I don't care if you're. Of course, we wanted our players to be like within the top 100, but there are reasons why I draft, say, Lonzo Ball, right? I needed some assists, and in that round,
steals.
He looks like the guy that could give me those assists. And if he doesn't give you that, that's gonna be frustrating as an owner because your strategies would not be executed properly by the players you drafted, right? So that's going
That's
to be a
true. That's
challenge.
true.
And if you build around those types of players, that's going to be more of a challenge, because most likely some of the categories that you didn't really prepare for are kind of weak and not really as strong as, let's say, your assist if you're trying to build around that. So that's what frustrates me. Not really the shooting or the freeze, because I feel that it's gonna come. But yeah, more of the
The
assist.
threes are good actually. 2.9. I think that's solid. The steals 1.6. That's good. That's that's not bad. So yeah, the assist is a problem. The scoring, well, I don't think he's a scorer, but he's been not too good either. 12 points a game is kind of low.
Yeah,
Close to Draymond levels. Not yet 7 or 8 points, but it's just 4 points away. So it's kind of low. It's kind of
yeah.
low. So there.
So hopefully he gets those up. I'm a bit worried because I watched the Chicago game. I'm not sure if it's just because they were against Golden State today, but yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
offense was not as good. It was all Derozan and Lavine, and not much else.
Well, Vucevic was out,
Yeah,
so
that's
they probably had to change some of their offense and everything.
yeah,
So we'll give them a pass for
yeah.
today.
Just so, and they were against the top defensive team in the league, so maybe that
Yeah.
contributed to their struggle today. Bogdan Bogdanovic has been uh, mentioned a few times here in our worry list. Still, another player who I drafted for certain strategies that's not really working. More of the threes and the steals, more
Yeah, the assist
consistent
last year.
scoring. He had assist, but of course, I don't expect him to be as good. But at least the scoring, I was hoping at least around 15 a game. He's
Yeah,
giving like
yeah.
what, 10, 11,
Yeah.
right? So that's what concerns me about Bogdan here.
I'm worried. I'm worried with Bogdan. I'm very worried. Well, at least the good news is well, it's not good news, but Deandre Hunter went out with a wrist injury,
Mm-hmm.
so he might miss time. If Deandre misses time, maybe Bogdan will get more shots in the starting five.
Yeah,
But I'm worried because of the depth really of Atlanta is really bugging him down, in my opinion. And he doesn't seem healthy at all. He's always questionable with
yep,
something sore.
that's
So
that's true.
I should not have drafted this guy. I should not have drafted this guy. But in fairness, all the other guys on that range, Evan Fournier would be a
Are
worry player.
struggling. Are struggling.
He's also struggling. Colin Sexton is already out, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
whoever you chose for your shooting guard, a shooter, scorer type at that range, you probably missed, right?
Yep.
So there was nobody really that, well, unless you went Jordan Poole, at least
Was just
he
a little
probably
too early in
it's a
that
little
range.
too early, but he'll end up being the best one right now. So
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So those are our worry players. We have a lot. We have some as well, but you can just read them in our.
Evan Fournier. Some people are asking if he could be dropped in 12 team leagues. I hold him also in 12 team leagues, and I'm close to. I'll give him one more game, probably one more game. But if he doesn't turn that around, I'll move on. I'll
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. Because if you, especially, I think the rule is if you see someone there who has a better potential, because in some leagues I've seen Devin Vassell being dropped, and I
He
feel
came
like
up.
he should not be dropped in a
Yes.
14 team league. And yeah,
14
so
team league. He was dropped in a
yep,
14 team.
I just
Okay.
couldn't add him because I don't know who to drop
Okay. You have a good team.
in that league. And then the other one, I'm just waiting for him to clear the waiver, or at least
He
close to clear the waiver, so I can
he's
decide
my
whether
number
I'm
one
gonna
ad
play.
today. He's my number one ad. Devin Vassell is my number one ad. Again,
Uh,
for
yeah,
the
he
second or
should.
third
I
straight.
In a 14 team, I just think he should be there. He should be. The Spurs are bad. They're not good. Derek White has not been playing well. Devin Vassell has the probably one of the higher upsides there in the Spurs side.
If if you're owning Desmond Bain or Jordan Poole, then you should be owning Devin Vassell. That's just what I think. He's higher ranked than both of those players at this moment. But he doesn't have the big. He had some big games, but he doesn't have the 7 threes games or something.
No,
And he
but
has
he can
more,
have like 2-3 steals a
yeah.
game, right?
But he has more lows than the other players I mentioned.
Yeah.
Although
More,
Bain has had 2 bad games, but Vassell has more up and down and up and down. So that makes people drop him, I guess.
yeah.
Plus he's off the bench also. So that's another reason.
So, but yeah, I'll see what happens if I can pick him up in some of the leagues. Komish said that many have been asking about Drew Holiday. I'm not sure why people are worried about Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday just started his season last week, right?
That's the problem. They were frustrated already with him to begin with because of the injuries. I mean, two ankle injuries, and then he didn't play well. He's not playing well actually.
He hasn't played anything close to being good.
He's way below.
I think today has been his best game so far. His stats wise, although the shooting hasn't been there, but Drew is really not known. He's up and down when it comes to the percentages.
And I guess that's why today I got a lot of messages about him because he did well, and people were asking already, how can I trade him? I mean, they're in a hurry to trade him, which Jeremy said, and I agree. I'll take your Drews if you want, because I think I think he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay.
Yeah, he's good. Again, he's just started his season last week. If we analyze it, if we look into it, he got injured first week, right? Didn't play much, and really, it's just last week that he started. And like some of the guys we talked about, who has been starting slow, this is just Drew's slow start has just been delayed by a couple of weeks, and maybe this is just a slow start for Drew.
I would want him more than Bogdan, although I know Bogdan is playing well and is way above him in the rankings. Although Bogdan was picked after him, but I would like him more than Bogdan because I feel, of course, Bogdan's injury history is really worrying me.
Yeah.
So that's one, and I think, as Jeremy said, Drew has a level more that he can go to. I don't think Bogdan has any more level he can go to. This is Bogdan's best already. And he's playing 38 to 40 minutes a game. How long will that last? That's my question to all of you guys.
And if you notice, Bogdan has always been a fast starter, unlike the other players.
That's true.
He always starts really well. Of course, it's hard to end well if you get injured in the middle, or if you're very injury prone. But I hope Bogdan gets it together.
I hope you listen to what Eric Ong said last night, right? I mean, certain players have certain traits, I guess. He talked about Ariza. So Bogdan is on the opposite of Ariza. He starts very well.
Yep.
Norman Powell starts very slow. So
although
it's
Norman
different.
Powell has started very well this year.
Yes, this year it was a different Norman Powell. But usually it's like that. And I read some interview with a anonymous player, quote unquote, and he said that 80% of the players in the NBA are treating this first month or two as basically their preseason.
Yeah.
So they're just coasting at this point.
Yeah.
There are players like that, and there are players who are opposite. They're go, and they want to perform well right off the bat. So you have to know which player is this and which player is that.
Drew is a more consistent one. I mean,
overall, yes.
Overall, he's more consistent. We can't call it a slow start as well. The only reason why we're calling it a slow start because he came from a minor injury, an ankle injury, and that could have contributed to him starting not as good as you expect him to be. But yeah, he has been consistent in past seasons when it comes to his performances. Just because he contributes any stat that you need, right? The defensive stats, the assists, the rebounding, and the scoring. So we'll see. Today, Giannis did play. which is good if you are against Giannis and bad if you have Giannis. It's good for me because in our invitationals, I'm against Patrick who has Giannis and I'm being killed there. Allowed me to close the
To
gap a
breathe
little
a
bit.
little bit. Yeah.
Close the gap, although overall the categories that I'm winning is still not there. I mean, he's still up, I think, 7-2 or something. But at least the stats are closer and gives me a little more better chance to get a couple more categories in the next 2 days. Um, buy players, let's talk about some buy players. Lou Dort, uh, should you really buy on Lou Dort?
Uh as you know, I'm not a fan of Ludort. Let's put Darius Bazley also in the same conversation. I'm not a fan of both of these players, but they've been better. I mean, so far lately they've been better, and I think in 14 team, we're talking about 14 team leagues. I think both of them can be rostered. Standard maybe not yet, but in 14 team rosterable, and streamer maybe in 12 team or short term hold for injury replacements. I know you don't like Blue Dort either, but did you see that
No.
steal today? The
Uh,
game-winning steal.
yeah, I watched that. I saw that highlight. But yeah, the reason I don't like Lou Dort is because of the field goal percentages and the inconsistencies.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are
yes,
the
that's
things
true.
that you have to expect from Lou Dort. If you're punting your
He's
field goal percentages, then fine, you might want to take a flyer on
true,
him.
true. That's true. If you're
But
punting field goal, yes.
if you're on the edge in field goal, like you're not a guaranteed you're not a 50% field goal team, right? Because there are some teams that have high field goals. If you have like players like Gobert, Giannis, that helps you, offset some of the poor field goal shooting of some of the players.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
might want to take a flyer on Lou Dort if you need some scoring, some steals, maybe. But if you don't want to lose if the field goals are close, then he might not be the guy for you.
He's up to point 0.8 steals though. I mean, that's not good, but it's getting there. Maybe his
Yeah, but
defense
he's
would
known for that.
finally
He's known for that.
translate, right?
And you'll probably pick him,
Hopefully.
if you need the steals, you probably pick him over the other guys who are not really known for their steals, right? Even if it's just point 0.8. I mean, steals can be can have
Fluky.
some, can be fluky. You need some luck as well, right? And we've seen it in the finals. Like some managers would, in play fantasy finals, some managers pick up a player who is good in steals and then gives them zero.
And
So
just to add to that, the trend in the NBA now is that shooting is down, field goal is down. We've been talking about so many players who are in career low field goal, career low free throw. So that's the trend number one. What does that mean for your fantasy teams? It just means that more variance with the percentages. So let's say you have Durant, you have this, and you have that. You say I'm good in free throws, but not anymore this year. Not yet,
no,
at least this year. So you can lose. That means it's up. It's there's no consistency there.
yeah,
That's one. And number two, steal rate is way higher this year. And I think you noticed that too. I mean, Rubio 6 steals, Gary Trent 6 steals, Sakati Barnes had 5 steals. I mean, it has become so common to see these 4, 5, 6 steals a game, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know why. Maybe the ball. Maybe the ball also. Because when
probably
they
yes,
yeah,
probably.
right? When they're dribbling and they cannot
Or
handle
the
the ball
grip
that well.
of the ball
Yeah,
is
yeah.
different. So yeah, Lou Dort could be a buy player. Huerter, I think, is a must buy if DeAndre Hunter would miss time or would be out for a while. He is. I mean, we are just waiting for someone
News.
in Atlanta to go down and give Huerter some time, right? I mean, Huerter is a solid fantasy player,
he
and
is. He is a solid fantasy
he
player.
is just not he just doesn't have the playing time because Atlanta, like we
Although,
always say, is so deep, right?
yeah. Although today he had 30 minutes and he did too well. So maybe that's why he's still gonna be available in your leagues.
Yeah.
But if really, if I think he's the one who's gonna start because they like Reddish as their sixth man. They want that setup. So if he's gonna start, I think I mean not in 12 team leagues still without Hunter. In
12 team, maybe you
14.
can just stream him if he's
Yeah,
gonna start.
stream.
Yep.
But he needs one more injury aside from Hunter. Like the last time out, Bogdan has to miss a game also or something.
But unfortunately,
But at least
that has to happen.
It's gonna be a 14 team guy, I think, if he's starting.
Just keep an eye on that situation with Deandre Hunter because an injury like that could change a bench player's fantasy value. And I'm sure Reddish is not in your waiver wire, so, and I'm sure only Hurter is. So that's the only guy you have to look into if you want some players to stream at least. This guy, the next guy I'm going to mention, I have him in a few leagues. I have been always borderline about to drop him, but he always gives me something that I really like. Nasir Little. He is Portland's, we talked about the 1-1-1 guy in yesterday's Q&A, and he is that guy for Portland.
Some people will look at him and say 7.5 rebounds, 0.6 steals, 0.6, 0.8 blocks. Not 1-1-1, but lately he's more than 1-1-1. And that's what's important to us, right? Lately, how is he performing? He's performing so well.
Yeah, that's why I can't drop him.
And in 14 teams, he should be rostered. Should be rostered in 14 teams. And
I have him in I think 16 and 18 teams.
Even more. And I'm kicking myself because I found out that in our Roto League, in a 17 team league, he was a free agent. I did not notice that, but he should be rostered in 14 team leagues. And the very least is better than Larry Nance this year. I mean,
and they like him more. I mean, they play him more.
He's younger.
He can score. Last year, he showed some of these before he got injured. I think we mentioned him last year. I'm quite sure he got some playing time last year. In when Nurkic I think was out, he got some playing time. So I think we saw a little bit of this last year. Now I think he got a year in, and maybe he's better. I have him in a few leagues.
He's a hustle guy. He's a high motor guy. That's why seldom do you see him really have games where he had zeros everywhere. At the very least, he gives you rebounds. Gives you rebounds. He's gonna be a player who gets those loose balls. So 14 team, Nasir Little.
And just quickly, Bones Highland played well today.
Probably I want to talk about Bones. Yeah, Bones.
I have Bones in 80 team league. That's a deep league. So, but I've seen Bones in a 14 team league. He's still in the waivers in the free agent pool.
I picked him up in a 16 team league. I picked him. I think I picked him up also in a 14 team. He got 21 minutes today. Facu is, I guess, he didn't play today. There's no report of an injury. Yeah. So could be out of the rotation. Austin Rivers got some of the other minutes. But if he gets 21, 22 minutes, Bones Island, he might be their answer to MPJ going out. He's that good. He's really a scorer in college, and I've been following this guy since college. And he's really good. So if he gets 21, 23, 24 minutes, he's going to be a 14-team league guy. Yep. And if that goes any higher, and remember, Will Barton is not really a very durable guy either. So, just one something tweak here or there can become...
We've talked about some of the players not durable. We're not hoping for any injuries, but just in case, we all know what happens in the NBA. Right?
Fantasy is so predictable sometimes. I mean, Brogdon will go down, he goes down. Kristaps will go down, he goes down. But these players, there's a pattern. So Bones, someone you have to watch out for. And even in 12-team league, even in 10-team leagues, not saying you pick him up right now, but just be ready. Just be ready. He's already starting to show his promise in Denver. Yeah. So someone I'm very high on.
But again, he's a rookie.
Yeah.
Yep. So there could be, like with all rookies, there could be inconsistencies there. And
rookies this year, They
But
don't
the
look
rookies
like
this year are
rookies.
solid, are really good.
Yeah.
So far, and yeah. And lastly, not really the best way to end it with this player, but with the loss, with the COVID protocol on Vucevic, it wasn't Tony Bradley who performed, but it was Elise Johnson who somehow got the minutes. Maybe because
And
as well they were against Golden State, and Golden State is a smaller team.
well, we predicted this. We predicted this, and we knew that Tony Bradley would just be good for. I'm not high on Bradley. I mean,
Yep.
if you're just gonna pick up Bradley because of Vucevic, just pick up Naz Reid, which is also part of my watch list. And he's
Yeah.
getting better. Naz Reid is getting better, so that you can go with that. Elise Johnson is the better fantasy player,
Option.
but 10% owned is Tony Bradley because people know he's gonna start for Vucevic. But when you watch him, he's like
Poor
I don't
man's
know.
Daniel Gafford.
No, even worse than that. So he's just slow. He's just big. So no, not interested. But if you're in 20, 24, 26, or whatever deep leagues you are, you go ahead, get the 6 rebounds a game, 1 block maybe. That's okay. He's gonna start. But Elise is the guy. And then I want to talk about Chimezi Metu
Too. Yeah.
of Sacramento. He started for Mo Harkless. Mo
Mhm.
Harkless suddenly was removed from the starting five. And if this sticks, Metu, for those who do not know Metu is a very, very skilled big man. He can shoot. And today he showed it. He was taking so many outside shots, taking so many 3-pointers. He can shoot, he can rebound, and somehow he has shot blocking potential also. So this guy, another guy to look out for, Chimezi Metu, if he stays in the starting five.
Yeah. If you just want to, I know free agent ads are, some managers are fast, some managers are slow. But if you're listening to this, if you're in a deep league, like an 18 team, I wouldn't mind picking him up speculatively in an 18 team league.
I picked him up in our 14-team league already.
See, so
I picked him up early.
yeah, so 16 or 18 team league, I'm speculatively adding him, but in a 14 team, it depends maybe who you're gonna drop there in a 14
And you have to know, you have to see how the teams are doing. Sacramento has lost 4 in a row, and that's why they made this move. If they won today, that would have been. I would have been more confident it would stick, but they lost. So maybe Luke Walton will make another change because he's been doing a lot of things. He's been playing Tristan Thompson all of a sudden today. Then sometimes it's Alex.
He's
Len.
been doing Luke Walton things.
He's trying to figure out make something
And
happen.
what is this his third year?
4th, I think. He's been already
in Sacramento.
Coach. Yeah, I think it's 3rd or 4th. I'm not too sure. But
third year, he's still experimenting right now. There's not much changes in Sacramento as far as lineup goes.
It's funny that they don't want to fire him because they don't want to pay him. That's their only reason. So I think this is his 4th year.
No, I think another reason is that they've fired a lot of coaches already, and they've been paying.
And they're paying them.
They're paying them. So I think it's an expensive firing. If they do it again, it's good, the same thing happens. So I think they'll probably finish paying one coach first before firing another one.
That's why, aside from him, New York is another team that I want to look closely because there's something wrong in New York right now. So if Fournier, looking at it should be Kemba and Fournier probably go to the bench and then start somebody. That might happen. Happen. And RJ Barrett, as we said a week ago, we told you about RJ and he was hot and we said, he's not gonna last. And well, where is he now? Outside 120, outside 130, and he's really bad.
But that's how fantasy is. That's how it's a roller coaster ride. It's a roller coaster ride. But having said that, if you play this game long enough, you'll probably know which players you should rely on and which players are just there because they had a good game. And that's why we keep mentioning players like even Eric mentioned players like Tobias, Chris Middleton, not so sexy picks, but have always been reliable. You know what you're gonna get, right? These players like Drew, he's struggling, but you know what you're gonna get with Drew. I mean, these are not first round players, so that means there's more variance when it comes to their consistency. But at least you know what you're gonna get with these types of
And
players.
that is why, just to segue to Damian Lillard, just one more last thing into Lillard. That's just why I think people should not be too fast in selling him,
You should
despite of the
think.
injury. Because Jeremy was that's talking about dependable guys. Usually depend. I'm not saying it can change, but usually you have a track record to look back on. That is why I was not that high on Cole Anthony, because even in college he doesn't have that track record of consistency, efficiency. That's why what he's doing right now is a little bit surprising. But those things
Mhm.
happen. Those things happen. But of course, we cannot predict all of those things, right? We just predict majority of the things. That's why guys like Lillard do not just look at 8, 10, 12 games. Look at the history, I mean his career. He usually performs well. So like, add Lillard to the Tobias, to the Chris Middletons, to the Drew
Yeah.
Holidays, these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you were able to get him for a low price, then good for you, because
Yeah.
he's getting his game back, he's getting his groove back, but hopefully
Stays
and
healthy.
hopefully he stays healthy and continues to roll. Yeah. We've always said that this could be a phase, although we were worried about the injury concerns as well. We have to admit that we were worried, and at one
Still worried.
point, Commish is close to panicking about what to do with Lillard, because that's a big loss. If you lose a first rounder, that's going to be a big loss. And if you don't have a team who is overperforming, meaning you don't have players like Miles Bridges, who you picked 100 and is now in the top 20 so far, right? If you don't have those types of players, you're gonna struggle if you lose a first round player, and that's for
And
sure.
and and I feel you guys, because I'm an experienced manager already, but I panicked also. And I panicked also. I said, oh no, oh no, oh no. But the
Yeah.
difference is, after sleeping over it for a couple of days and thinking about it, I said, why am I panicking anyway? So let's just relax. Let's just wait it out. And that's why I was able to give the advice to some managers.
I was trying to find the Lillard trade, because there was a Lillard trade that in one of the FBW leagues, but I just couldn't find the actual trade that happened. But yeah,
There was one was Lillard. Lillard, I remember two. Lillard, SGA, Jarrett Allen. That's one. That was one deal that happened.
yeah.
And when the manager asked about it, I said, well, that's not bad. I mean, I would do that because I think Jarrett Allen is solid. SGA might not be Lillard's level, but Lillard might not be top 10 this year, might be top 12, So that's good. The other is the Lonzo Steven Adams thing I told you about. And, the manager was insistent on it. So as
Did
long as
it
you're happy.
pass?
Yeah, it passed.
I just couldn't find the Lillard trade. Anyway, that's it for Daily Fantasy Quickie. Tomorrow will be, I think it's less games tomorrow, right?
7 games tomorrow and on Monday. The last 2 days, 7 days. 7 games.
Yep. I hope you guys would have a good fantasy week, but more than that, I hope you guys have a good weekend. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.